Have you ever felt that magical feeling of wanting to reach out to the stars and chase your dreams? That feeling of passion, excitement, and joy that fills you, that drives you to work hard every day in pursuit of that goal? But then as reality sets in, it dims and shrinks and is stowed away deep into your heart, but it never fully goes away. Stars don't die out that easily after all. We just can't see them. I felt that fleeting feeling so many times, more times than I could ever count, but as much as they go away, I always find myself coming back to chase my dreams, coming back to gaze at the stars that I dearly love that got me started in the first place. My name is Fructose Tolerant, and today I'd like to talk about Windsong and her pursuit of passion. Windsong, formerly known as Ekaterina, is a ley hunter, one of the few students of the ley lines discipline of study left after the scandal involving the founder of the study. We get to hear about the scandal and the beginning of Windsong's journey of studying ley lines through her lecture at Laplace in her character's story. The scandal was centered around Tristan Lisov having been found to be guilty of corruption, bullying, and fraud. It was as if Lisov brought the study of ley lines and took it down with him. The name Ekaterina means pure, just like Windsong's passion and dedication to ley lines that are untainted by other factors. In the event story, she tells us that she is from the west of the Dniester River, to which I speculate that she is Ukrainian, like her voice actor. While arcanists are seen as quote-unquote illogical, this doesn't mean that they can't be in scientific fields. Take X in the medicine pocket, for example. They are passionate about their inventions and research. We can compare Hoffman and Windsong to see the difference between humans and arcanists. Both are knowledgeable in their fields, but Hoffman is illogical and takes the more reasonable step, while Windsong follows her heart and goes after things that interest her, even if it may not be worth it in other people's eyes. Arcanists are whimsical. So long as they are passionate about something, they'll pursue it to the end. The name Windsong carries an air of serenity and bliss to it. Wind isn't always in one place. It flows into the direction that it wants to flow, whether it be a strong fury or a gentle breeze. Let's go to her backstory, told through a retelling at the letter by Windsong. She poses the question, what matters more? Those who do the work or those who popularize it? Before the scandal, the study of ley lines was very popular amongst the journals, and Lisov was seen as a respectable and charismatic figure that motivated everyone in the institute. There were many sponsorships for various projects, so long as they had ley lines in it. Most journalists flocked to articles on ley lines not for their intricacies, but because of how people put a lot of faith into ley lines. It was the study that the publishers loved the most. People took interest in ley lines in the hope that their village or hotel had gold or any other treasures lying under it, but were often left disappointed. The study of ley lines was only a means to an end for them. The institute was bustling with students and professors, yet there was always some distance between them. There was Professor Ivanov, who was close to Lisov and the guiding figure for Windsong, who was new to the study at the time. Seeing her work and potential, he recommended her to join big projects like the one on the Kolaria super deep borehole or the Sverdlovsk rescue project, but Windsong took interest in Old Nikola's project instead. The tower of papers on his table fascinated her, and so that was how she got to work under the tutelage of Old Nick. Old Nick doesn't like cutting corners and only works on projects that interest him, and Windsong also followed this philosophy. But this philosophy is the reason why old Nikola isn't Professor Nikola, despite his experience. So many journals take in papers that could have been more in-depth with their explanation of the topic. But that is what you need to do if you want your paper to be published instead of another one taking its place. While she was with old Nick, Windsong never heard of this, but that doesn't change the fact that she works earnestly. This shows the harsh reality of the world. That oftentimes, no matter the quality, so long as it is the first or most prominent, it will be the one that people will naturally look at, especially those who are unknowing of the intricacies of the topic. This is an issue that is often present everywhere today. In the age of the internet where you can post anything and people often feel pressured to post first, even if it comes at the cost of the quality of their content. This leads to the rapid spread of misinformation and content slop, and an unknowing viewer will take it all, since it is the first one shown on their feed. Even though this may come off as discouraging, and may even make some people stray from their path, Windsong doesn't waver. She firmly sticks to how she wants to pursue ley lines, which despite how the events of the past wear her down, she still keeps her belief firm to her heart. I also like how the study of ley lines adds world building to Reverse 1999. Ley lines also exist in real life, as a study believes that ancient civilizations place significant landmarks deliberately along certain lines. It fits right in with the world filled with arcanum. Back to Windsong's story. While her friends were put on big projects, Windsong was sent to one of the harshest places out there just to observe critters, Harega. Even though she was sent out there in the cold, while her friends were enjoying the hot springs and the warmer places, she enjoyed it because it was a topic she was fully invested in. She sends letters to communicate with Sofia, fellow researcher studying the local critters in Tarega. She enjoys their correspondence and looks forward to catching up at Yatkusk. But when she was called back to the institute because one of her colleagues, Yelena, added her as a co-author on a paper to secure more funding, Windsong was naturally mad, since she had to travel all the way back to the Leyline Institute, disrupting her research. But to make it up to her, Yelena presented Windsong an opportunity to work alongside Tristan Lisov himself, exploring the ley lines of the ocean. Windsong was confused. What was there to explore to the ocean when it came to ley lines? To Windsong, projects aren't worth working on just for connections or funding. Windsong turns the offer down, much to the dismay of others. Windsong is headstrong in the philosophy she inherited from old Nick. Even when her best friend put her name on the paper, not out of ill will to obtain funding, she is against it because that is not her focus of study. When she goes to Professor Ivanov to decline the invitation to work on the ocean project, he is confused but also laments about how he was too old to pursue his dreams like Windsong. The industry made him jaded. Who wouldn't be? Reality often finds a way to wear down our dreams. Bad circumstances can stack on top of each other to create a bleak situation that can dishearten even the strongest of hearts. Windsong's story shows us how important it is to pursue our dreams because you don't want to grow up with regrets. The time we have left is limited, as they say, you only live once. In a time where so many people feel pressure to take exams and get good grades, even though it's not what they dream of, a message that tells the player to do what they truly want to do when life is so meaningful. I find her declining the Ocean Project's invitation to be very admirable. Had it been me, I would have hesitated. I would have rocked my head back and forth between the two options. What comes first? Fame or the quality of work? I would have also bent if someone like Yelena put me on a paper that I wasn't happy with. I'm a pushover, I know. Enough of me being a bummer, but this is why I love Windsong. I love her because she can stand up for herself and her passion, staying with it to the end. You may be thinking that sounds great for the study of ley lines, but remember Lisov's scandal? So many researchers were riding the highs of the ley lines, but after the scandal happened, they all abandoned the study to pursue brighter futures. Lisov's scandal led to all papers regarding ley lines being questioned and put under academic scrutiny. The paper on the Otviniks that Windsong worked tirelessly on with Sofia in Yatkusk was declined by the journal National Nature Studies because of the scandal. No matter how many times Windsong sent her research process and data, they were all declined. One stayed on the reputation of ley lines ruined it all. But despite the lease for the institute building expiring, Windsong was still there alongside old Nick. This shows that Windsong is committed to ley lines. It shows her unwavering passion for the study. As someone who has always found herself to be jumping from ship to ship, she's a role model to me. Windsong truly cares about the study of ley lines, and this is what keeps her going. Windsong's passion for the study of ley lines is tested time and time and again, with every rejection letter she receives until one finally breaks the camel's back. The rejection letters cover up all of the old accomplishments on the bulletin board, like how the exploitation of the study overshadowed the actual care put into the discipline, at the very verge of breaking down from all of the frustration.
Hello, is that Miss Ekaterina?
It's me.
No, this is Sophia.
Sophia?
Whatever happened doesn't matter now. Comrade Ekaterina.
She receives a phone call from Sophia asking for her to help her continue her research. Swelling with doubt, Windsong declines the offer in fear that Sophia will be affected by having a lay hunter help her. But Sophia reassures her, and so I have to pull the study of ley lines from this cold grave. I won't let it die like this. And so Windsong starts laying out the blueprint for the rebirth of the study of ley lines. Windsong almost lost sight of her aspirations, but because Sophia was there and believed in her, she had faith again. Feeling like the world helps your hard work and effort is crushing, and I've felt this before. It hurts. You feel like you want to cry because no matter what, your hard work will amount to nothing. Seeing that I can't even write a decent script, I wonder if I can ever be a good video essayist. They never see all the struggle and effort put into the thing they rejected. Even if they did, their answers speak louder than words. But when I remember that there are people out there that have believed in me, I'm able to stand up again. I open the Google Docs again, and I start typing. But of course, Windsong didn't come to Rayashki with that much optimism. The world has worn her down even further, but her passion is still there. Still, after so many rejection letters and frustrations, she arrives at the small town by the Arctic with a pessimistic outlook. However, the parts I talked about before come from her character story, which was a retelling of her past, so let's talk about her time in Rayashki. We are introduced to Rayashki to Windsong dies, acting as an audience surrogate. 1.8 reminds me of those Christmas movies, one where the jaded outsider comes to a snowy but warm town and fixes all of their problems. Zeno sent Windsong over there as a sort of last resort to find something of use out there. While the town's climate was harsh, the people were the complete opposite. They were warm and welcoming to Windsong, contrasting the cold and jaded environment of the Leyline Institute. Because of how welcoming the residents of Rayashki are, Windsong's heart warms up too. At first, she was unsure that teaching the children about ley lines would be worth it, since they didn't have any quote-unquote practical use. But Vila insists, and the children want to help their town as much as possible. They are invested into the study of ley lines as Windsong passes on and simplifies the basic information for the children to understand. Even though the children don't understand the little details of ley lines, what matters most is that they care about the subject. The people of Rayashki are very caring, and their camaraderie leads to Windsong using her knowledge of ley lines to pay back to the town that cared so much for her. Their warmth thaws the cold in Windsong's heart. Listening to Vila talk about how Rayashki is the utopia she dreams of, one where humans and Rizalka, like her, can get along, makes Windsong want to protect it too, as someone who was always longing for a home. She had the Ley Line Institute, but that was all gone now, and so she understands this yearning and wanting to protect the beloved Rayashki. She hesitates from being used to being called a liar too many times. The townspeople are eager to listen to her thoughts. Because in Rayashki, no matter how harsh the climate, everyone has a part to play. Knut works in the factory. Uncle Patrick works in the canteen to feed everyone. Vila educates the children so that they can help the town in the future, and with Windsong becoming part of Rayashki, this is her unique part. Let's talk about Bertolt and Evgeny for a bit. Starting with Bertolt. He is reminiscent of those of the likes of Professor Ivanov. He waves the idea of Windsong getting a high position at Xeno just so he can do what is required of him. He couldn't care less about what ley lines do or why they matter. He challenges Windsong's philosophy. Will she go for fame or stick to pure dedication? He presents a monkey's paw to her. If she does what he wants, she may have the potential to bring back the study of ley lines, but at the cost of the town that loves and cherishes her only after a short time of meeting her. Windsong gives it some consideration, but in the end, she declines. Meanwhile, Evgeny is genuinely passionate about saving Rayashki, but gives up and goes to Zeno instead. He shows us what he thought was best for Rayashki instead of sticking to his beliefs. Evgeny calls Windsong stubborn, and when he was cornering Windsong alongside Bertolt, the stubbornness of hers gave Evgeny confidence. Evgeny was like Windsong before Sophia's phone call. He felt he was tired and out of options and chose to surrender. While the yearning for a place to belong is more of Vila's character theme, Windsong reminds us that keeping hope in bleak situations can lead to positive things happening. If she hadn't believed in herself and Sophia by now, she wouldn't have been giving a lecture in the main headquarters of Laplace and be invited by Madame Lucy herself to do so. If she hadn't opened up to the townspeople of Rayashki about the study of ley lines, then Rayashki would have been no more. Recalling that feeling from the very beginning in the intro, Windsong's aspirations never went away. They were just tucked away in the deep corners of her heart, and the right people and the environment brought that back. Ley lines saved Rayashki, and by using the true value of ley lines, Rayashki saved ley lines too. The impact that ley lines had on Rayashki was powerful enough for Madame Lucy to invite Windsong to join Laplace. At the very end of Windsong's talk, she gives the answer to the question first presented by her. It's the people who truly care about the study of ley lines that's important. It's the people who truly care about the Rayashki that are important. Whether your dedication is seen or not, it will persist so long as you pure-heartedly believe in it. It's hard to do so in an age where likes and views may be the tipping point for people wanting to quit, but so long as your heart stays pure, it will pay off in the end. So long as hope persists, so long as you don't lose track of your pursuit of passion. Wait, this video isn't over yet. It's missing a little bit of the fruit touch, isn't it? Let's talk about her in-game references, starting with her afflatus. Like the name suggests, afflatuses are what an arcanist is closest to. Windsong's afflatus is star, showing her ambitions to reach far up high into the sky. This is the same for characters like Tooth Fairy, who want to bridge the gap between humans and arcanists, or Ezra, who wants to help people with what he can. Opening her info screen shows that it is the longing of the Lone Star, which can both represent her being one of the few lay hunters left and reaching out to new heights, or showing her independence and unwillingness to dim even in the darkest of nights. Her medium is a blueprint, showing how she wants to lay out the blueprint for the future of the study of ley lines. Her urimo is a rodent without a habitat, one always found to be roaming the world. This shows how she goes around the world for her research, but how she is somehow perpetually without a home, with the Leyline Institute and Rayashki gone. Also, you know how urimos are present in the inside 2 arts? Windsong's urimo is hiding in her scarf. How cute! I love how Reverse 1999 conveys a character's traits through even the fundamental things such as their type of attacks. Now, over to ending credits Fru. Hello everyone! Fru here. This is a collaboration between me and Comfycheko. Be sure to check out her video on her channel. We both put our all into our videos. I really hope you enjoyed this video and expect to see the thumbnail change to an illustrated one unless Future Fru decides not to. Unfortunately, even though I'm using the mic that I bought, the audio is still really crap, man. Special thanks to my members NitroPixel, Kaya, Arsenic, and Keita. You have a Discord where you can come and discuss. Thank you so much for watching this video and make sure to check out this video on Vila. Bye bye!